Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at the Naples of the East event once again, but not for a very good reason. Obviously, this event has not been well received because of the fact that, well, to be honest, it's a copy-paste Sionin, and after an update where you add a bunch of battleships, some of the biggest names in the game, they decided to do a little frigates for coastal for Japan, which obviously isn't great. Now, the interesting thing about this event is it had two kind of additions to it. You had the decal of the Kagoshima, and then you also had access to a flag. Now, without, it seems, a mention anywhere, they've changed these things. Now, I'm guessing this is due to copyright issues or licensing issues or whatever it is, but basically, instead of getting a flag now, you actually get two decals. So you get the Sakurajima Volcano decal, which looks pretty cool, and then also you get the Kagoshima decal. But it's just the fact that, I mean, I've scoured pretty much all of the forums, and I've scoured the event page, and I haven't seen anything to do with the fact that they've changed this up, which kind of sucks. And it would be nice if they would actually put like a pinned comment on the event, because at the end of the day, you know, they sold this event as one thing, and now it's different. So that kind of sucks. It's never nice when stuff like that happens, and, you know, I don't like it when these ninja changes happen during events. I think it's always good to be as open as possible on what's kind of going on. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. If you are a person doing that event and you're looking forward to the flag, looks like the flag's disappeared, so no flag for you. And to be honest, I was looking forward to the flag, because I like collecting them, but now, instead, it's two decals, which, you know, I kind of like collecting too. So for me, it doesn't bother me too much, but for others, I'm sure it will. In this video, we'll also go over the changelog that came out today, and also some gameplay stuff that's been happening over the last little bit. If you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. Let's get started. So today we had an update for War Thunder. The update was 2.47.0.77, and some of these changes are actually kind of funny. They're good bug fixes, but they're just really funny how they even existed. So for aircraft, there was a bug that allowed choosing a non-existent aircraft carrier as the spawn point in Enduring Confrontation that caused the aircraft to appear in the air with no speed has been fixed. So basically, you would turn up and then you would just fall out of the air straight away and just bonk into the ground. I think that's kind of funny, but I'm also glad that they kind of fixed it, because obviously that would get annoying after a while. I suppose basically you only do that once, and then you're probably like, that's probably not a great idea. Maybe some people try it 2 or 3 times, but at least they got it fixed. There was also a bug that sometimes caused the camera on aircraft to clip through the buildings. That's been fixed too. So basically you just get stuck inside the building and not be able to see anything. It's probably a good idea. The other way that it usually works is it actually pushes your camera closer to the plane as you go past a building, which also isn't the best, but I suppose there isn't really a fantastic way of doing it unless you make like the inside of the buildings invisible, so therefore you can kind of like see through them anyway. There was also a bug that sometimes caused the camera to jump around when landing on aircraft without using landing gear. That's been fixed. You know, one of the saddest things about War Thunder, and I might be being a bit hyperbolic here, but one of the things I used to really enjoy back in the game is the fact that you had to land on your gears. The fact that you actually had to take at least a bit of effort and care for your aircraft, that you would have to land on your wheels and make sure that it didn't explode. Because back in the day, if you didn't land with wheels, or if you didn't at least attempt to land with wheels, you would just explode. You would just go boom, and everything would just kind of go wrong. And it meant that it kind of forced you to do it properly. And then they got rid of that because they changed how basically planes interact with the ground when they hit them. So now everybody just scrapes their planes on the ground because it's quicker by about 2 or 3 seconds. It just makes me super sad because to be honest, it looks awful. And at the same time, I think it just kind of goes against the whole like realism thing a little bit. I always try and land normally if I can, and just try and get it done properly. But I understand why people don't, because once again, there's an incentive to not do it properly. It just kind of sucks. So also for ground vehicles, the CSSA-5, the Tor M1, the HQ-17, and also the Panzer S-1. The tracking radars have been converted to ESA radars, and this has reduced the time it takes to update data on targets in the field of view of the tracking radar. So basically, they'll be able to see stuff quicker and be able to engage it quicker. One of the things that I've been doing recently is playing the Leclerc S2 specifically, to be able to grind out the Leclerc MSC. I was successful at it yesterday. We ended up getting the Leclerc S2 from 50% to 100%, spaded it. And during that time, I had a bunch of matches, obviously, with the wonderful effect of the Cage 38 MT. Turns out these high-tier SPAAs haven't fully fixed the issue of Russian vehicles and many others just being able to spam munitions at people and then just disappear. Because there's a lot of maps which are designed where there's just hills in very specific places, and also the problem was never the fact that the SPAAs weren't up to standard. I suppose it could have been seen as a small issue, but the major problem with the whole thing, and has always been the problem, is it is too easy to use the munitions on the planes. It is basically 2 clicks of buttons, bang bang, and then you can start repositioning again. It's one of the issues with fire and forget at ground munitions, where the actual engagement time that you need to engage your brain is about 3 seconds, and then you can just set off at defensively flying once again. So by the time that you get off all of your missiles, the enemy, the missiles coming towards you from these ground vehicles are not quick enough. So they need to be, because even if they're launched and fired, they're not going to get to the target quick enough before they're defensively maneuvering and moving away. So I had plenty of games still against stuff like Su-30s, Su-34s, all of these types of vehicles, where they were still just hammering the spawns and then also just hammering other targets. Because that's kind of how you play these things. What you do is you spawn them, you have a look, you usually go down to the ground because, the AA starts hammering you. You have a look at the map and you realize there's certain mountains on the map that you go sit behind, and then what you do is you pop up behind the map, have a look at both spawns, hammer both spawns, and then go back behind the mountain and just keep doing that over and over and over again. And then guess what? You get pretty successful at that because it's quite easy to do. And it's just dull to play against because there's nothing you can do. There was also many times where I went to engage the missiles in the air and I wasn't able to, such as with the Floracrad the other day. I think I actually have a YouTube short which is going to show it soon, but basically the missile just kind of zoned straight through my missile when I tried to engage it.
Oh, where are we going? Oh. It's not doing a great job of showing the enemy. What can you do?
And then I just died. That was on a Maverick, and it just sucks. So until these things actually work properly, which when I played the Ito, actually, surprisingly, it did work properly, which was nice. But until these things properly work properly for everywhere, it's not going to be very fun. They also had a customization change. There was a bug that caused decorations to change their position or disappear altogether when changing camouflage, which also caused them to disappear after a battle. and that's been fixed, so that's quite nice. Always good to see those things kind of fixed. So not a huge changelog here, but enough to be able to grind teeth on, which I think is quite important. The SAM system's getting even more powerful, kind of shows you the state of where we're at, and once again, they're just not powerful enough, because I don't know how many times I have to say it. It's the fact that with the planes, you only need a few seconds, not even a few seconds. People can do it in less than a second. You only need a very short amount of time to be able to engage the enemy. And then also at the same time, they added in the ability to laser anywhere on the map without even seeing it, meaning that you can set up some ridiculous stuff on the map as well. Hopefully, Gaijin can rethink some of these ideas. I don't think they will, because usually they don't. But who knows? Anything's possible nowadays. Or at least, that's the hope I have in my head. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.